Hello everyone, I'm Wendell Jones and welcome to this edition of the program, The Platform. On this program, we examine national issues and sometimes international issues. Bahamas has been a member of UNESCO for a little while, and today on our program we are going to talk about that United Nations organization, how we benefit from that organization, what protocols we have agreed to, and the extent to which UNESCO has been of assistance to the Bahamas. Our guests on the program today are Dr. Leon Higgs, who is the Secretary General of the Bahamas Commission for UNESCO, and he is joined by Dr. Linda Moxey Brown, who is the Director of Culture. She has been on our program. Both of them have been on the program before, but we haven't seen Dr. Higgs for a long time. Godfrey Innes is here. Welcome to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Higgs, why haven't you been here for a long time?
You have not invited me for a very long time.
That's a good answer. That's a very good answer. Now,
and since this is your show, I couldn't come without your invitation.
Very good. Now I want
Except
you to.
I invited myself
Now I
today.
want you to come more often. You telephoned me, you know, and I just said to you, come along.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So here you are.
Yes, sir.
But you have been involved in higher education for a little while, right?
Most of my adult life.
Yes.
All of my professional life.
Right. But you were in the Ministry of Education
I was in the
with
Ministry of
responsibility
Education
for what?
for tertiary education, which
Okay.
would have taken in the colleges, universities, accreditation, registration of institutions, adult literacy,
Okay.
the public library system,
Okay.
all of those, and the scholarships, loans and scholarship and grants, they all fell under me while I was in the Ministry of Education.
Very good. So after being president of the College of the Bahamas, you went to the ministry
Ministry of Education.
in charge of all those things.
Yes, sir.
Now you are in retirement.
Yes, I am.
Not really, because
Well,
you
not
are with
really.
UNESCO.
Yes, really, you know, I think retirement is almost like a myth.
Mm-hmm.
You move just from one thing to something else because at my age, there is no way I can go home and just sit down and do nothing. I think I still have much to offer to the Bahamas.
Very good, very good. And Dr. Moxey Brown, it's good to have you back.
All right, thank you, sir. Good to be back.
Yeah, you should come more often yourself.
I certainly will try.
Okay. So, UNESCO. Explain what it is exactly and our participation at UNESCO.
Okay. UNESCO is the United Nations Science, Education, and Cultural Organization. That is the arm of the UN that is responsible for all the things related to education, to science, to culture, and they also deal with social activities, human social events like all the social situations that human beings would have.
So the Bahamas has subscribed to this organization from independence, 1973.
September 18, 1973.
From 1973.
Became a party to a part of the UNESCO organization.
Now, how do we benefit?
How do we benefit? Well, if you look at UNESCO, for example, when you talk about education, things like the Millennium Goal for education, making certain that there is universal literacy for all children. UNESCO promote subjects such as that. For example, right now, there are parts of the world where this current session, where we're talking about having potable drinking water for people. We benefit from those kinds of things.
But how?
The cultural conventions, for example, the cultural conventions which we will talk about a bit about some more, but let's take the 1972 Cultural Convention, which deals with the protection of cultural sites. Once our sites are a part of the UNESCO's heritage map, it means that people all over the world who travel just for, who travel cultural tourism is something that we can benefit from because, for example, Columbus Landing in San Salvador, I'm certain once we are officially a party to that convention would be a no-brainer in terms of consideration for inclusion on the UNESCO World Heritage Map.
So we are not party to all of the conventions,
Well,
are we?
three of them.
Just three?
Just the three that we've signed, yes.
Why just three?
There are, well, prior to December, we were not party to any of the cultural conventions, sir.
I see.
So we're taking it one step at a time. We have another one that's coming up in this summer, but since it's not all planned yet, that's the 2001 Underwater Cultural Convention. We would hope you would invite us back to talk about that one once we've planned that and we've decided where we're going with that particular one.
Okay.
Dr. Higgs, Jones asked you about benefits from these conventions and UNESCO.
Mhm.
Don't you agree that you benefit based on your level of participation?
Well, but before you can participate, you're right.
We've been a member for 73.
Yes, but we didn't sign off on any of those.
That's
We're not
part of the
parties to any of those
That's part of the
conventions.
participation.
Okay, which means that we could not take advantage of what those conventions offered because we had not signed off on
And the
them.
second aspect of that, right? The Bahamas signs on to all kinds of conventions.
Mhm.
And you are unable to participate because there's no money allocated, right?
You mean no money
Allocated to attend conferences, right? To participate in
Okay.
various aspects of the
That's
convention.
That's
You just
true.
don't sign a convention and that's it.
No, but these cultural conventions, no, you're right. You don't just sign it and
You got to
that's it.
attend meetings. You got to be a part of committees.
This
And
is
we
true.
live in a country, Dr. Higgs, where there are elements who are adverse to public officers traveling to these meetings,
You're right about that also.
right?
You're
And
right
I want to
about
know how you can participate and how you're going to benefit if the people do not know your interests.
Okay. One of the things with the
I'm a old hat additional. I'm FAO ambassador, so I know.
one of the things with the cultural conventions, once we become party to these conventions, we have one of UNESCO's requirement is that we put in place protocols to make certain that these conventions work for us.
Okay. Dr. Higgs and Mrs. Moxey Brown. Can I just call you Moxey Brown?
That's fine.
Okay. Not Brown.
No,
Both.
both.
Okay. You are the director of culture. Why haven't we, well, why don't we know more about UNESCO in the Bahamas? I don't know exactly how long you've been director of culture, but why don't we know more about UNESCO?
You know, Mr. Jones, that's a good question to ask. I came into the chair as Director of Culture back in December of 2010. And since coming into this position, I have been asking over these many years, why haven't we signed off on the cultural conventions with UNESCO? Mr. Inez asked a moment ago, what benefits would we arrive from being, a signature to these conventions? For the mere fact that there are technical support that we can be assisted with, there are some financial support that we can get doing things here in the Bahamas that's important to our culture. There is a phrase that I've been using now for the past 4 years: no culture, no country. With coming on stream with the UNESCO convention, that will help ease some of the burdens that we suffer here in the Bahamas. In other parts of the world, you have countries of just one mass land. You can travel across the United States in every state, basically. Here in the Bahamas, we have to travel by boat or airplane. So when we talk about signing off on any other cultural convention, it's like being able to get assistance to put the programs that's here in Nassau, not only here in Nassau, but throughout the other family of islands as well. So we are limited to that extent. And for the mere fact that we don't have the financial means to do so. When we talk about the Heritage Convention of '72, we're talking about naming places in the Bahamas, like the Blue Holes, like, you know, over in Long Island, some other aspect of, you know, the lighthouses throughout the Bahamas and other aspects that we can bring tourism into with this national tourism culture event that's going on now. Also, in able to do that, if we're putting on some major festival, let's say we're doing a Rake and Scrape festival, and we want to bring persons in from the family of islands into the capital to have a national Rake and Scrape festival, we can ask UNESCO then to assist in some financial way that we can bring persons into the family of island. So there are some important benefits that we can arrive from signing off on those conventions.
For 40 years, what have we been doing? We've had ambassadors to UNESCO. We've had representatives to UNESCO. I know Sidney Poitier was
Yes.
ambassador to UNESCO. Teresa
Hepburn.
Moxey Ingram, Dr. Hepburn.
Yes.
All of these people were ambassador to UNESCO.
And I wondered the same thing, Mr. Jones. I asked what have we been doing over these many years that we have not signed off on these conventions, even having those sitting ambassadors.
Yeah, but signing off is one thing, but why were we there in the first place if the country was not feeling UNESCO here? Have we, just name one program that made a difference here. Now, I must admit that in the area of Gambia or Adelaide, I saw some UNESCO signs up years ago. They were doing something there, I don't know what. But why don't we feel UNESCO here?
There are some projects that, but they were mainly in the area of education, that we were able to do through UNESCO. But
tell me what they were.
I can't do that, and the reason why I can't do that is because in discussing with at least one of my colleagues, Dr. Karen Sincere, I know she had written some grants that were funded by UNESCO monies, but that's long before I came to the ministry, and I didn't memorize the ones that she had, but I know she did get some grants funded.
Yeah, but Dr. Higgs, I want to know how the Bahamas participated in just one program from UNESCO in 40 years. Just one.
For example, about 2-3 years ago, this is before I came on board, there was a program that is called the Sandwich Program. This is where we had children in countries throughout the world actually sensitizing them to environmental effects of the environment. I know there was, I think it was in Abaco, there was a very good project that went on. It was done through the schools again. It was a school-based project. And I know that project, that's one that I'm familiar with, that I learned about since I came into this program.
I think the point Mr. Jones is making is that UNESCO has not had a high profile in the Bahamas.
Well, no, it has not. It has not.
That's the issue.
But, no, the issue is it has not had a high profile, but that is about to change. That's why we're here.
Okay, good.
That's why, for example, we came into this office in May.
When you say we, you're talking about you.
We.
That's the royal we.
That's the royal we.
Yeah, but that's you. Okay. You came into the office in May, and you want to make a difference.
We came into the office in May.
Yes.
And by December, the Cabinet of the Bahamas had signed off on 3 of the conventions. That's
yeah, but signing a convention,
yeah,
Dr. Higgs, is
yeah,
one thing, but actually feeling and seeing something is another.
Mr. Jones,
You could sign on anything.
No. We have to start someplace.
Yeah, but signing is an achievement for you. But signing is not an achievement for me.
Signing is an achievement for the country, sir, not for me.
It's
not about me.
Yeah, but for the country, we need to see some things happening.
Yes.
And the paper can stand still and let you sign anything.
Mr.
Okay?
Jones.
But at the end of the day, how do we have young people in the country benefiting from UNESCO? Right now, you cannot tell me.
Mr. Jones, yes, I can tell you how.
All right.
I can't tell you what has happened, but I can tell you what
is going to happen.
What is going to happen.
Okay. Well,
and that's why we're here. You see.
Okay, hold that point. Hold that point
Okay,
right now.
but you give me a chance to make a point.
When we return from the commercial break,
okay.
I'm going to give you as much time as you need for you to tell the country how we are going to benefit moving forward.
Yes.
Okay? We're on the platform, and we're speaking to Dr. Leon Higgs today and Dr. Linda Moxey Brown. We'll come right back.